Greetings all! Today, we'll be examining the relatively common grass fairy-type Pokemon Cottonee, the Cotton Puff Pokémon, and its relatively rare evolution Whimsicott, the Windveiled Pokémon. Though they might not seem to be more than potential pranksters to some, the members of the Cottonee family are unique plant-like creatures that can certainly leave a trail of chaos in the wake if they can't be caught up to.
Cottonee have stark white bodies with darker coatings of off-white seed fluff covering the top and bottom of their forms. They are noted and distinguished further by the pair of green leaves on the sides of their forms, a calyx on their back, and the large, blank, amber-colored eyes on the front of their body. Their evolved form, Whimsicott, have frames that are also mostly coated in a detachable hood of off-white cotton fluff, with a bit of it also covering the now discernible neck region. Their leaves have shifted position to look more ornamental on the sides of their head, and the rest of their body has taken on a more humanoid shape, their exposed brown flesh having small digiless hands and feet that they use for locomotion and to interact with their environment.
Cottonee and Whimsicott are closely related to Pokemon like Hoppip and their evolutionary relatives, and have similar lifestyles, though their offensive specialties are quite a bit different.
These entities are plant-like fairy types that rely on photosynthesis to produce much of their energy, making sun exposure an important part of their lives. In addition, these creatures must rely on the wind to carry their exceptionally light seeds far away from their parent plants. Unlike the Hoppip family, however, Cottonee do not have to wait until the final evolution before becoming capable of distributing seeds. Since they only evolve when exposed to the radiant energy of a sunstone, Cottonee are automatically built to distribute seeds the moment after they are born, most likely because their relatively weak offenses prevent them from surviving against most types of predators. In the case of both Cottonee and Whimsicott, a lack of seriously strong offenses leaves them with one preferred battle tactic: running away. This rarely proves to be much of a problem for these creatures, however, as their bodies are filled with so much fluff that they can effectively squeeze where little plant matter makes up their main body through even the smallest of cracks.
This also gives Cottonee and Whimsicott the potential to possess the Infiltrator ability as a base ability, while their wily natures can also grant them access to Prankster alongside it. Those that tend to be more focused on their plant-like biology are further differentiated by having Chlorophyll as a hidden ability, bringing out their best in intense sunlight.
As far as their stats go, in the case of Whimsicott, it can be seen that these sprite critters sadly do not have much to offer in the way of direct combat, as most of their base stats are below average for a fully evolved grass and fairy-type Pokemon. The one thing they do have going for them is an above-average base speed stat for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, so at the very least, they can be rather nimble and put that speed to good use to confound others or at least get out of the way of attacks. Cottonee are effectively dependent upon the wind for life and mobility, as they tire easily when trying to move on their own. Luckily for them, their bodies are light enough to be carried away on the slightest breeze to the other side of the world, as some might say.
The vast majority of these creatures' bodies are covered by the fluffy tails of their seeds, which act as a decent insulator against both extreme temperatures and attacks, and are incredibly light and airy, making pillows stuffed with them soft and puffy and among the most high quality of their kind.
If threatened, these creatures will shoot small clumps of their fluffy seeds as a way of distracting the opposition, granting them enough time to safely escape. This is rarely ever a problem for them, as they can quickly regrow any cotton that they lose from their body due to diversion. In general, Cottonee are somewhat limited in terms of sheer offense, primarily learning the types of grass and poison-type moves associated with most plants, but little else. As a result, these creatures will often huddle together in groups for protection, looking more like a cumulonimbus cloud on the ground than a plant in any case. It should be duly noted that Cottonee are at a severe disadvantage against water types because of their body structure, as even the slightest amount of moisture can weigh down the soft fluff covering their bodies, preventing them from moving much and effectively negating their relatively decent movement speeds.
As such, these creatures are generally unfit for extensive combat training and are rarely seen among professional trainers, though they still maintain some usefulness with stat-changing moves like Charm and Cotton Guard, and when their cotton fluff is weaved together with Eldegoss fibers, they can be used to make some of the most exquisite cloths used by luxury brands across the world.
Exposure to a sunstone radically alters the brain structure of Cottonee and essentially grants them advanced telekinetic powers upon evolving, though they can't be directly harnessed into psychic-type moves without the use of a TM or TR. These strange powers will allow them to retain access to the normal array of moves learned by Cottonee, also grant Whimsicott full control over wind currents. Aside from giving them the ability to distribute their seeds as freely as they wish, riding along whirling winds from place to place instead of staying in one area, this unique power also allows Whimsicott to learn the gust, Tailwind and Hurricane moves, making them a threat towards other grass types, as well as enabling them to take full advantage of their fairy-type powers and learn the devastating Moonblast attack in addition to the Memento technique.
Since this power originates internally and not due to an anatomical alteration, however, Whimsicott remain grass fairy types with no real change to their type assignment.
Moreover, as long as they bathe in sunlight, the cotton on their bodies will never stop growing, forcing them to often tear out and scatter hunks of it if it becomes too large to work with. While these unique quirks can prove to be useful attributes, the development of psychic powers also caused a radical change in the minds of Whimsicott. In simple terms, their minds become as wild and unpredictable as the wind itself. As such, Whimsicott are exceptionally mischievous and will gladly sneak into any crack or crevice in a building to fill it with fluffy cotton and in general cause trouble, hiding important things from people and giggling and riding on whirlwinds as they do so in order to muffle the sounds of their movements as much as possible. Though they must be careful about how they ride such gusts of wind, as if it suddenly gusts upwards, it can blow off all the cotton on their heads. While this can certainly make them a challenge to catch and defeat, it also makes Whimsicott equally difficult to control and train if their trainer sticks to planned battle strategies and refuses to simply go with the flow. Thankfully, if you ever lose track of where Whimsicott has gone, you just need to look for random balls of fluff, as they always tend to leave bits of themselves behind when they squeeze through any sort of space. Plus, they become too heavy to fly if they become wet, forcing them to answer for the mischief.
While they might not look like the kinds of creatures to see much in for battles, the members of the Cottonee family are wily tacticians that can more than play pranks on those that try to catch up to them. You might have to go out of your way to make the most of these strange critters, but the sheer fun you can have with them can more than make it worthwhile if you don't mind cleaning up the cotton they leave behind.
Just do yourself a favor and try not to play a game of tag with them in a place with accessible ventilation. You might think you've got their number, only for them to vanish into a ventilation grate, potentially leading you to hit your head and get quite a nasty mark for trying to follow these fluffy fairies in their escape.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Titus, and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.